Welcome to DowerChin.com. So today I'm going to talk to you about some new cases that I've gotten. So basically I've been using the Samsung's very own Note 8 case for a while now, for about a little over a month. And as nice as the case is, I have come up to some quirks that sort of bother me and that basically require me to look at something a little different. So let's take a look real quick and review what's so interesting about this case. And basically, what it is obviously it's a iPadish-like case with a little flap like this. It covers it. Nice backing with a solid back here. Um, the device turns on when you flip it over, and basically you can turn it into a little stand like so. Or if you wanted to stand it up, you kind of have to do this weird little prop thing where you kind of wrap this around and then you kind of stand it up this way. So there you have it. So here are the things that I've run into with this case that kind of drive me a little bit crazy. This mode, not too bad, but on some surfaces, it can easily topple over, especially if it's a little bit slick. This is I got some paper down here right now, which basically is a bit rough, so it doesn't have much of a problem. But if you're on a smooth table, that could be a problem. The other thing is that being in this mode here, your buttons are face down. They're right down here, so they're rather inaccessible. So it's kind of a bit of a pain. The other thing that's kind of happened with this case is that over time, this is unlike the iPad minis or the iPads. Their smart cover has a little bit kind of a metal clasp and hinge over here. This is a wraparound plastic or rubbery material. And so what's happened is that occasionally it kind of slides. Now how this works though is that you flip it open this way, it doesn't turn on. But when this last little bit flips up, the device turns on. So what has kind of happens sometimes is that it kind of slips over like this, or if in a bag, it slips open like this, and voila, your device actually turns on inside your bag, and that doesn't well, doesn't help your battery life very much at all. So so what I did is I looked around, and there was a company called KaysCases that actually makes a couple of different cases that we're going to look at today. I got two of them. One is their SlimBook cover case, and the other is their 360-degree rotating cover case, and right here. So we'll take a look at them a little more in brief in a moment here. So let's take a look. So okay, so let's look at the SlimBook cover case first. So this one pretty much has many similarities to this, but we'll take a look and see what the differences are. Now both kind of have a felt lining inside so that it won't scuff up your tablet. Let me turn this one off and let's take it out of the case here. So let's take a look. So basically, they have a spot for the camera, no problem there. They both have openings in the right spots for the headphone jack, as well as they don't obstruct the microphone at all. And they have the notches in for being able to pull out the pen. And the interesting thing down here is the case actually has a bit more protection on this side. See how where the Samsung kind of curves off. This one, the case actually kind of comes up to where the micro USB slot is at. So a little bit more protection on that end. So let's take a look at the KaysCase SlimBook cover and see what it does. So slap it in easily, it just does that. Voila. So I chose a blue one instead of a white one or a black one. You see it's kind of a little two-tone color. It's a little bit different. Now this is a little bit more like an Apple smart cover in that it actually folds a little bit, folds a bit more, and you can actually wrap it around, and then voila, you have kind of a gripping area, and as well you can actually stand it up, and it actually is pretty sturdy. The nice thing about this now is that your buttons are not obstructed, not at the bottom, they're actually up on top now, so it actually is a bit more useful. So it's kind of nice. Then you can actually flip it over this way and actually have this rolled up and have it in that shallower angle for that you may want to have if you're kind of tapping along or looking at things at this angle. Now, the thing about it is that this is kind of like a plasticky rubber material, and it doesn't clasp on this side, so don't expect it to be like an iPad smart cover, because basically they kind of fall off this way, and that's the same thing with the Samsung, no exception there. So that's one of the shortcomings of this, but it's not, I don't think it's the case's fault per se, as there's no real ability for it to anything to latch onto this side of the device. So there we have it. So this is actually pretty simple. It works quite well, and I actually like this case because it doesn't. It's really no difference in thickness between the first party Samsung case, and you have the ability to basically have a much sturdier stand. Once again, so to view in landscape mode, and then you'll also still have the ability to kind of use it in the shallow angle. So it's really quite nice in that sense. So that's the KaysCase SlimBook cover case. Now let's take a look at the 360 rotating cover case. So what's so special about this one? It's a bit of a heftier case. And basically what makes it interesting is that in the back here, you notice this big ring. This ring allows the body part that protects the device to be able to rotate around. It's got a magnetic clasp over here to basically latch on, which it actually holds itself quite nice. It doesn't fly off or anything. And flip it open, and you have the felt material on the side. And then instead of a felt here, you kind of have a plastic here, and there's the ring for the rotation. So let's take a look at what this thing is like inside of it. All right, so pop that off to the side. Okay. Okay. Voila. Just that simple. So close it, and there we are. So it is a bit heftier of a case because you notice that the flap is actually relatively thick compared to the kind of flimsy thin ones that are on both the SlimBook and the Samsung's very own case there. So it's a bit more hefty, so it offers a bit more protection. The clasp, I guess, it's a magnetic clasp, which is kind of nice. You can flip it open, then basically lie it down like so, in this notch there, and voila, you have it in your landscape mode. There's also another notch if you want it in a more steeper angle, and it doesn't really move around all that much, which is kind of nice. The interesting thing about this then, it comes down to the fact that you can rotate this, and voila, you have a portrait mode where you can view. Now this is a bit hit or miss. Now what's nice is that you can leave it and have it this way. So if you're kind of looking around over here, oops, sorry, lock it the right way. There we go. Okay, so if you're looking around here, say like, oh, you want to run, say a PDF viewer here, for example, and say look at a book or a magazine. What's nice is that you can have the ability to kind of look at it in a portrait mode. So that's the kind of nice thing about it. Now, however, it's pretty much not good for anything other than just leaving it alone looking at it, because if you start interacting with it, it's going to fall over. It doesn't have the balance to basically keep itself from tipping over. You can sort of almost do it if you put the flap up and kind of rest it this way. You can kind of get it. It's a little bit better this way, but sometimes it kind of slips off as well. So, but the nice thing is that you have the option to be able to do this, because there aren't any other cases really around that let you kind of give you a portrait mode to work with, and as easily flip it over, and once again you're in landscape mode. So the nice thing about that is also an interesting thing is you can wrap this around, fold on top of itself, and then this thing kind of folds underneath, and the magnet kind of latches on. So what's nice is that it doesn't fall apart. It doesn't kind of flop around. So it's kind of held in place, which is kind of nice. The interesting thing that this also affords you is the ability you can pull your pen out, and if you're drawing, for example, if you go back and pull up something like Sketchbook Pro here, and what you can do is if you start drawing, you can actually kind of rotate it. The table is a little more rough. You can actually rotate it around and draw without having to worry about lifting the whole thing up. So, it can be useful for some people, but it's an interesting little addition that you can do with this case, because the cover side of it can stay down, and the rotating portion of it lets you rotate. So it's kind of nice. So let's close this guy up again. Easily just closes up like so. So there you have it. This is the 360-degree rotating cover case from KaysCase, and you know, it does add a bit of once again, it adds a bit of heft to it. You can kind of see from this, it it is thicker, but the added protection is kind of nice. So kind of, once again, it kind of depends on how rough you're going to be with your devices. I actually wound up liking this case a lot more than this. It's nice to be able to have this, to be able to kind of roll it up and use it in this mode, but I actually do enjoy using this case a lot more. I mean, it just feels a lot nicer. Just having the extra ability to kind of have a thicker case, and it just at first, you know, I've always been kind of annoyed with other cases that kind of do this, but it's not bad. It's actually not bad, and just having the ability to kind of rotate it around is quite handy. So I've actually liked this case a lot more than I would have thought I would have, and so I'm actually using this primarily now. I was using this for a little while, but you know, as nice as it is, I actually am gravitating towards this one a lot more. So there you have it. So two new cases to look at for the Galaxy Note 8. So once again, the KaysCase SlimBook cover case and the 360-degree rotating cover case as KaysCase. So thank you again for watching, and you know, feel free to let me know if there's anything else you want to see, any suggestions for things you would like me to talk about. So thank you again.